Vital Hoops is for the culture.
Peace, Jumbo. Welcome to the Vital Hoops podcast. My name is Fernando Cardenas, aka International XB. I am your host. This is episode number 53, and our show today is along the lines of health and hip hop. And for that, we have a very special guest. Our guest today is a certified trainer and nutritionist from New Jersey. She specifically trains busy people and hip hop artists. She's also the creator of the Health and Hip Hop Show. Our guest is Kenesha Brockington. Peace, Kenesha. Welcome to the Vital Hoops podcast. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you, taking the time, coming on the show. It's good to have you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you for having me as a guest.
No doubt. It's an honor. It's this is what Vital Hoops is about. It's basically what you do is a huge part of it. So listen, let's get right into it. I would like to know a little bit about you, you know what I mean? How you got into health and how you became a trainer and a nutritionist.
Yes. So I got into health when I was age 21.
Yeah.
And I was having like a mini birthday celebration. And the person that I was with, I didn't know he was carrying an illegal firearm. And so, long story short, I ended up getting in trouble for being with that person. And that night when that situation happened, I was like, I'm changing my life. And so I literally turned 21 maybe 5 minutes. Like it was 12 o'clock. I turned 21, 12:05. I was in trouble. And I'm like, I'm changing my life. And I want to say probably like 4 months after that, my dad passed away.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, like he had a heart attack. And I was like, you know what? When I finish mourning, I'm absolutely going to make a transition because I didn't want my father's death to go in vain. I'm like, I want to be the best version that I can be. And the reason why I brought those two stories up is because around the time where, when you get in trouble, those type of situations can drag out for months.
Right.
And so I want to say probably like 2 weeks before my dad passed away, he helped me get out my own situation.
Okay.
From my father helping me. And so he died 2 weeks after that. And I'm like, you know what? I need to be better. Yeah. And so I immediately started working out around February, March. And I just started working out. And I was big all my life. And so I lost weight. And that's how I got into fitness because all of my friends started asking me to help them. So that's how that transitioned. That's how that happened.
Okay.
Yep. And so now I watch the company I keep and all those things. But yes, that's how
Right. No doubt.
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes, important things happen in our lives, whether it's, negative, positive, whatever. It makes us,
Better.
change and make big decisions, right? So
Absolutely.
I kind of, when I lost my mother I also decided to go a little bit deeper into health, because I knew that was part of why that's why she passed away, unhealthy stuff. But let me ask you a little bit, before you transition to a healthy lifestyle and all that,
yeah.
Would you say your lifestyle was like unhealthy, very unhealthy lifestyle, or like,
Absolutely.
because I think like pretty much, I'm not in the States right now, but it's kind of the same. I'm in France right now, but the States is a little worse. Like I think like on the regular, the average person lives a very unhealthy lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And sometimes we don't realize it. We think it's just like regular because that's what everybody else is doing, but it's actually a very unhealthy lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was just right before I was going through my archives and I saw a picture when I was 6. And I was looking at my eyebrows and I had eczema in my eyebrows.
Wow.
And I was only like what? I was 4 in the picture. So you can only imagine. That means I'm having too much sugar, too much processed foods for me to be 4. And I had eczema in my eyebrows at 4.
Right.
So that gives you a picture of what my lifestyle was. And I decided to change at 21. And I'm still fixing habits fixing issues from me being 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
so.
well, a healthy lifestyle is just a constant, it's something that you live every day.
Absolutely.
You always get better. It's
Absolutely.
not like it's not.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And the reason why I'm saying that is just because the more you study, the more you learn.
yeah, no
I'm
doubt.
like, oh, I did these things. So now because I did those things and I know what they caused, that's what I mean by I'm now fixing things that I've done when I
Mm,
was 14, 17, when I was ignorant to
true.
how I should be eating and how I should be taking care of myself, especially playing sports and things like that. I did not take care of myself as well as I should have with the amount of times we're going to practice and all of those things. I played sports all my life. And
Okay.
now I know how to take care of myself according to the energy that I exert.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's vital. Absolutely.
What sports did you play?
I played basketball. My mom played
Oh,
basketball. My dad played basketball. My mom went
oh,
to
that's the
Tennessee.
stuff.
Yeah, so I came out the womb. My mom actually used to play with me like all the time pregnant, like full blown
Yeah,
pregnant playing ball. Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's
I
what's
came
up.
out the womb basketball ready.
A true baller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Basketball is definitely a huge part of this show as well. So
Perfect.
that's dope. So you right at home. So listen, talk to me about hip hop. Talk to me about hip hop. How did you, because I know you work with a lot of
Yeah.
hip hop artists and all that. So talk to me about hip hop.
Yes.
What does hip hop mean to
Yeah.
you? And how did you get into hip hop and working with hip hop
Man.
artists?
Yeah. So hip hop has been a part of me since I came out the womb as well. Basketball and hip hop. So
Yeah.
I like my favorite rappers when I grew up used to be like Puffy, Maze, Jadakiss, and then it turned into as I got into a teen, it turned into Styles P and 50 Cent, and now it
Okay.
still ranges at Styles P. But I
Okay.
got into hip hop. I got into hip hop at a young age, but when I got into health and hip hop, what happened was when I was in high school, I was 16 or 17. I had my first relationship. And ironically, two things occurred. There are a ton of rappers that, especially in the battle rap world, like Shotgun Suge, J400 Block, that I actually went to school with. So a
Okay.
lot of rappers I've got in contact with just because I've known them my whole life.
Mm.
But when I turned 16, 17, and I had my first relationship, the guy that I was dating, his older brother happened to be part of Arsenal's camp. And so
Okay.
when I would go over there, this is before like battle rap has always been big, but it
Yeah.
was just getting on YouTube. This had to be like '06, '07, '08, '09, all of these years. And
Yeah.
so when I would go over there would be a ton of different rappers, and they had a studio in the crib. And so I would be there, and then his older brother would just always let me go everywhere.
Okay.
So that's how I particularly got into like the door of knowing celebrities and things like that. I've been around them since I was 16, 17. But being a tomboy, and at the time I didn't lose weight because remember I told you I lost weight at 21. So
Right.
I was big. So I was a big tomboy that was just a cool person, a cool chick, joked all around. So they let me go everywhere because I
Okay.
was chill. I wasn't doing groupie stuff around celebrities.
Yeah,
I
you
like,
you were like
people
one of
really
the
took to
homies.
me.
You're like one of the
I was
homies.
one of the
Right.
homies. But what happened was I ended up my dad passed away and I ended up losing weight. And so they saw my transition from me being the big girl, the big cool girl to, oh wow, like you really got cut up. And I was actually smaller than this. I was like really cut up. And then, they started asking me to help them because they seen
Okay.
me go from being big.
Yeah.
And that's how I really got into the field of health and hip hop. I was already
Yo.
in it, but then people saw my transition. And then, like I said, people started asking me,
Yeah.
how to help them. And then I got certified and things like that. And that's all I've done all my life is from 21. I think I worked maybe like a Toys R Us or small companies and things like that for
Yeah.
from like 19 to 21. But after 21, I've been doing health and fitness on my own time from 21 to I'm now 34. So for the
Nice.
last 13, 14 years, that's what I've been doing.
Dope.
So it came to me.
So
And
did you
then I
get
took a break, actually. Like I took a break from hip hop because once I started really getting into fitness and getting into dieting and things like that, a lot of the events I couldn't go to because I couldn't eat. I wasn't eating chicken nuggets and, drinking and,
right.
they serve French fries and nuggets and buffalo wings.
Yeah.
So I actually was like, I'm not going to no more battle until I get my staying up because I want to bring my own food in there.
Yeah.
And so I took a break. I took a hiatus from actually going to battle rap and just focusing on more on learning my studies, nutrition, fitness, and things like that. And then now, as you see, I have my show. So now I'm coming back. I
Okay.
mean, I still was helping artists and things like that, but now I'm making it. I have a platform
Yeah.
specifically towards helping hip hop artists because I would see, like, traveling, going to different states with like Sue Surf, helping them, and I always was the big girl that helped everybody. And then when I lost weight, I still helped every
Mhm.
artist. If you was coming around and you was an artist and you was fire, I was helping because I love hip hop. So I'm like, what you need? You need promo. What you need? I'm filming. What you
Yeah.
need? You need me to help you plan your concerts. You need me to help you plan your Instagram. Like, so
Right.
people rock with me because I would just help and I never asked for stuff. Like I barely ask people for things. And why I ask? Let me not. I'm a big person advocate for asking for help, but at the time frame, I just felt like if you were an artist and you were black and you were a hip hop artist, a lot of us were getting killed. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of us they don't have teams that they can trust. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I was just willing to help. And I'm like blessed because I was able to go from I was the person that was by myself. So I would be able to go to this group, to that group, to this group, and nobody looked at me funny because I only came to help. And
True.
so a lot of artists, a lot of hip hop artists, a lot of battle rappers are cool because of me. I would bring them up to know each other. I would bring artists from New
Okay.
York to New Jersey. I would bring Jersey artists to New York to link with each other, and they become, they are friends to this day because I would know who I would be helping so many people. I'm like, you need to link with this person, you need to get with this person, and they would teach each other. And so that's how I started, and I got into fitness, and now I have my health and option.
Yeah, yeah, that's dope. That's dope. We're
Thank
gonna
you.
we're gonna get into your show in a little bit, but talk to me a little
Perfect.
bit. Yeah, yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the process, of becoming a trainer and a nutritionist. Like which one came first? Did you first become a trainer, a nutritionist?
So I was training in a gym
Uh-huh.
in Newark. Shout out to the Fitness Fast Team. We were training, and so we were a group of people who were either big or just wanted to help people. And so I got certified first as a trainer, and then I was always doing a ton of studying. All I did was work out and go on YouTube, work out, read books. That's it. Like, even my first apartment was just all nutrition books. I didn't have no furniture or anything, just a TV, my bed,
Right.
a couple stools and books, 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 books. And so, yeah, so as a group, as a whole, as a collective, we studied together. And then I got certified as a sports nutritionist together as a team. And then also, when I was studying to become a trainer, we studied as a group too. So it was a trainer first. And then, like, 2 years later, I had got certified as a sports nutritionist.
Dope.
So now my goal is actually, I really do want to go back to school to become a doctor. Not right now. I want to do that when I'm a little older.
Okay.
I have a degree that I'm finishing now that I started with journalism. So I'm gonna just finish that. But when I get a little older, when I have the time, because you need a lot of studying and a lot of patience for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
ultimate goal is to become like a holistic doctor.
Wow. That's
So,
dope.
yep. So that's how I
Okay.
became a trainer in nutrition group. If it, I don't think I would have done it in that way if I was by myself because, I had to study because they were studying. Like, and if we said we were going to study and finish these chapters, I had to finish it because we did that as a group.
Right,
So
right.
if you having any type of trouble getting tasks done that are important or getting to the next level, do it with other people because if it's just you, it's easy to say I can study tomorrow, I can study next week. It's way harder to tell people that you're gonna do something and you don't do it. You don't like that feeling.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I use my team and my group at the time. So shout out to Fitness Fasting because that was a major help.
Right, right. You got to keep your word when you got other people around you. So that,
Absolutely,
that's what's up.
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I want to get a little bit deeper into health, because a lot of people,
Yeah.
when you say health, a lot of
Yeah.
people don't necessarily know what exactly we're talking about, right? So I want to ask you, like, how would you define health? And when you're working with somebody, what would be your main focus at first, I guess, when you talk health? What do you start?
Yeah. In my opinion, health is a balance. So it is the way that you take care of yourself where you can maintain that regimen.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times, a lot of people are performing or trying to become healthier in a way that's not specific towards what they do with their time and their career they have. So if
Right.
you're a rapper, if you're a person that just has a regular 9 to 5, when I say regular, I just mean you go to work and you come back. It doesn't matter if it's a high paying job, low paying job, but you have a set schedule. If you're a person that your schedule is all over the place. You may have a different schedule this week and then a different schedule next week, and then you got days that fluctuate off. You're gonna have to take care of yourself solely different. And a lot of times people are trying to do the basic, oh, let me just, do a lot of cardio, and let me just kind of do a low carb diet, or, let me do an hour workout or 2 hour workouts. But if you're a mail carrier, that may not be what you need to do because you're already working out all day. If you work at the warehouse.
Right.
So to me, health is what you can do as far as taking the best care of yourself. First off, sleep wise, nutrition wise, time for movement, time for flexibility and taking care of your joints. And where it's something where it's not adding a stress load, it's actually relaxing you, it's actually making you feel good, as opposed to it being, oh my God, I hate what I'm eating. I hate these exercises. I'm dreading this, I'm dreading that. You want to have a regimen that you can absolutely follow for the rest of your life, or at least for the duration of the next 2 to 3 years, depending on
Yeah.
what you have going on career wise.
Yeah.
So health to me is balancing your sleep, your nutrition, your movement, your stress levels with your career. Because that's what's really gonna play in your family life, in your friend life, in your friendship life, in your personal life. That's what's really gonna always take a toll on how you take care of yourself. Your family is going to play a role in how you take care of yourself. Your job's going to play a role, your personal time, your personal goals. You want your goals and how you take care of everyone else to fit into how you take care of you, instead of trying to fit how to take care of yourself into everything and everyone else. That is not going to work.
Right.
So
Right.
health is a balance between where you want to go, where you are, and how you maintain where you are health wise. And then
Absolutely.
how are you going to maintain that when your career changes? Because that's what people hit, those plateaus. It's not the discipline, it's the plateaus come from when the change comes. So if you're used to working out 6 in the morning, and then you have a change in job, or something detrimental happens, or something positive happens where it's a change, now
Right.
you can't work out at 6. Are you going to stop? And that's what most people do. Oh, once
Yeah.
this happened, I'll stop. If your leg isn't broke, if you're physically not hurt, that has
Right.
nothing to do with not getting in your exercise and not taking care of yourself. But
No
what
doubt.
people don't do is just take the time to say, okay, this is my lifestyle now. Let's say you're a new mom, or you have a new baby, and you were able to do whatever you want, work out when you want. Now you have a new baby. You're not on your time anymore. You're on that toddler's time, and you're gonna be on that toddler's time maybe for the next 3 years. And so
Mhm.
you may need to just work out whenever you get a span of 20 to 30 minutes. If you see there's a span in your home, you can't go to the gym. You need to bust it out right then and there, because that, your child is asleep, or maybe your husband or your partner is at work, as opposed to it being, oh man, I got to get back to the gym at my hour. That may not be what you need to do right now. You may need to just work out 20, 25 minutes as best as you can, eat as best as you can, and be patient and let your body get back to its healthy self from that small amount. And that works. That's a great amount of time to take care of yourself. You
True.
don't need much. And
Yeah.
then
No
you
doubt.
can get back to your hours or two. So you just need to know what your stress levels are, how your sleep is, and you want to
Mhm.
match that to how you take care of yourself. That's going to be key. So
Right.
that's what
Right.
health is to me. Something
Mhm.
that you can balance and do for a duration of time.
Yeah.
Not just 30 days, not just 60 days, not 14 days, not a 7 day, not 3 days. Something that you can stick to for a long amount of time.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate that, man. I agree with you. And listen, I know it's really about that. It's about consistency because I'm actually studying right now to become a health and wellness coach. And when I
Nice.
yeah, yeah. And when I talk to a lot of people, they want to start whatever, eating healthy, going to the gym, whatever. And then they do too much at the beginning, right? They start off, they're going all out. Now they're going to the gym 5 times a week, right? I'm like, but can you sustain that? Can you do work that throughout your schedule on an everyday basis for a year? You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So they going all out and then they stop after 2 months, like, yo, it's a wrap. So it's better to go
Absolutely.
little by little, right? And then, but just really do something that can be consistent, you know? And
Absolutely.
and also I really like how you put sleep first because I think a lot of us don't realize how important sleep is, right?
It's the number one factor.
I agree,
That's your
100%.
charger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's your recharge.
I
That's your
think
battery.
for
That's your
and
phone
for
charger.
both for both everyday people and athletes as well, right? Because athletes
Absolutely.
recovery, all of that. So I think
Especially athletes.
yeah,
But
yeah,
a lot of athletes, especially top ones, and whatever level you at, whether in your school, or a lot of times, a lot of athletes' lifestyles are crazy.
hmm
Like the
yeah,
top athletes, meaning, because you got the women, You got
Yeah.
the guys that are talking crazy to
Parties
you,
every day.
parties all the time.
Yeah.
And then, if you think about it, like with Kobe and them, Kobe is having what, 3 or 4 practices per day. So that recovery is a necessity, and we
Yeah.
don't learn that in school. We don't learn. We learn careers, but we don't learn how to maintain your mental with the career you're chasing, or your health
Absolutely.
with the career you're chasing. We're just learning careers, but how do
Absolutely.
you maintain that? Your thoughts are going to be what maintains how you feel, and how your body responds is going to be how you make decisions and how you maintain your career where you're going. And so we need to learn how to match where we're going with how we take care of ourselves.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
How?
I mean, for me, when I was an athlete, I was fueling off Chinese food. Like, I'm going to McDonald's. That's what I was eating. Pizza. I wasn't eating anything or where I was paying attention to the micronutrients of
Yeah.
anything. It would
Yeah.
just be whatever was filling up or what felt full to my belly.
Mm.
And all of those practices that we're doing, all of that running, not putting any of those things back.
Right. And then really when you're young, you get away with it. But the earlier you start your health journey, the better it is, right? Like for example, I know me when I was playing college ball, right? It was also a little bit like that, like I was always kind of health conscious, but not really. So I was still, eating
Yeah,
fast food,
of
we
course.
would go out party and then go to a 6 a.m. practice. But like when you're young,
Yep.
your body is still, you'll be able to recover faster, right?
Well, hold up. So sorry to cut you off, but
Go ahead,
actually
go
we
ahead.
are paying for it. We just don't pay for it till we're in our 30s and 40s. So you're paying
Exactly,
for it.
absolutely,
You're
absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely paying for it.
Mm.
That's why I said to you, I said I'm still fixing things when I was 14 and
Right,
4
right.
and 5 right now. So we pay for it. We just don't
100%.
feel it.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't feel it right away. Right.
True,
I mean,
true.
and actually we do though. We just don't
Yeah,
know
we
what the
do. We
signs
do.
are.
We do
We
feel
don't
it
know what
right
the
away.
signs are. We don't know
But
what
but it's just
we don't know
that,
what the signs are when we're younger.
yeah,
You
yeah,
could
we
push
don't know
through
what the
easier.
signs are. And yeah, exactly. We push through easier, right?
You
Because
could push
like
through easier.
exactly. Because like now,
Cause
like I'm still playing ball, at a
mm-hmm.
pretty competitive level, right?
I
And
see. I saw your
and,
page. Yep.
and I'm yeah, yeah. But I'm
Mhm.
38, right? I'm 38. And now I feel it. Like it's not the same. Like I gotta make sure I get my stretching in, I go to sleep, I get my hydration, all of that. Because if not,
Absolutely.
it's a wrap. It's not like I can't really act
Absolutely.
like, so it's really important, all of this. And the earlier you start, the better it is, right? The better you'll be able to.
Yeah, it's hard to say like what it would be at our age now if we actually had the information, excuse me, from
Right,
when we were little, because then you
right.
may not be feeling it right now if we've done it.
Yeah.
Like I did not care for stretching after any type of practice. When we do the warm ups, I was BSing through those warm ups. Like,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
the stretching. You're not really stretching. You laughing, joking. You're not
Absolutely.
really stretching at the
Yeah.
end of your workouts. You hiking on your teammates. You
Yeah.
joking on stuff. You're not really stretching. And so, like now, you're like, no, I need
Yeah.
to stretch. You're not missing. You're like, no, I need to get my sleep. I need to get
Yeah.
my eating, because you feel it. So I would really love to see what it looks like from a child athlete yay high, taking care
Hmm.
of themselves, and see how they feel when they get in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and see
Yeah.
if how they feel. They may not need to have the recovery methods that we need because it's already part of their regimen.
Right, right, right.
So
True.
I wonder how that would be. That's something I really
And you
want
know
to see.
that but unfortunately, most of the time the young boys don't want to hear it. I be trying to tell them, listen,
Absolutely,
like you said, they're out there
absolutely.
joking around in the warm-ups and stuff. I'm like, listen, take this shit seriously because it's
Yeah.
gonna it's gonna help you out, man. If you wanna play long, if you wanna play for a long time, take this shit seriously, man, for real.
Nah, absolutely, absolutely. If you look at like a lot of athletes too, just from the loss of the hair loss that comes from a lot of men, professional athletes start losing their
Yeah.
hair around that time, just from all of the sweating and all of the working out without putting back those
Mm.
micronutrients.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
hair is one of the first places that will go, because
yeah.
it's a necessity, but it's not a necessity to stay alive. And so if your
True.
body chooses to pull whatever nutrients you're not putting back from your hair or from that area, that's where you can
That
have some hair loss at early age
that's
from,
a good point. We do see a lot of athletes, actually professional athletes, losing their hair and stuff like that. Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah, yeah.
because of all the, I mean, how many times a day are you pushing out all of those nutrients from your sweat?
Yeah.
And then you're talking about those practices are geared to be harder and harder and harder and harder and harder because you're trying to become better and better and better and better.
Mhm.
a lot of the times
Yeah.
it's gonna come from your hair.
Yeah, true. Talk to me a little bit about nutrition. Let's get into nutrition because I think nutrition is another key component. Me myself, I'm a vegan. I became 100% plant-based about 8 years ago,
Hmm.
and it helped me out right away. As soon as I started, I felt it in my recovery, everything. But I think nutrition
Absolutely.
is definitely a key component. What do you usually tell your clients when it comes to
Yeah.
nutrition and all that?
Yeah, so it's always gonna be based on what you do, right?
Mm.
So I'm all for plant-based diets, of course, but like I said, it's all about what you do. Because like, so let's say you're plant-based, right? And I've been plant-based tons of times. I've been plant-based 7 years straight. Then there's times where I'm plant-based for a year. Then there's sometimes that I need to have a little bit of flesh here and there based on science and based on what's going on.
Mm.
Because let's say, for instance, right, you have a certain injury, right? And as a plant-based person, if you need to have a certain amount of kelp or a certain amount of dulse, right, for a certain injury, it may take you 6 months just to get that amount in when you can have a small amount of yellowtail or something that can get that diet quicker. And you may need to intake that for a couple of weeks and you can go back to your plant based diet. So
Okay.
I'm all for a plant based diet for sure. And I think that majority of people should be plant based, or at least 80 to 70 to 90% of your
Mm.
diet should be majority plant based. If it's going to be 100% plant based, absolutely yes. So when it comes to nutrition, you want to gear it towards what you do and what you have going on.
Right.
But for majority, yes, I do agree with at least either 100% plant based or anywhere between 70 to 90%. But like I said, if there's certain issues and things going on, and I'm not
Yeah,
talking chicken or things like that. That's why I'm saying certain flesh has the same plant-based diet as you do, and you can get nutrients quicker because they have more access. So let's say, like I said, if you have like yellowtail tuna and you need selenium or you need a certain mineral that's lacking, you may need to have 6 or 7 big salads. And if you can't intake that all the time or every
yeah.
day for the next 10 to 12 weeks, it may be easier for a couple of weeks for you to get that, just to get that selenium in quicker. And then you can go back to your plant-based diet. So just having either someone who has knowledge of where you can get nutrients faster,
Yeah.
and then you have where you can get it from plants, but it just depends on your knowledge and what you have going on. And this has nothing to do with, this is just overall being a human. If you're lacking things in your system and you don't know where to get them from, you need to have someone that can tell you that. And then it depends on your like transition, because like if it may take you a couple of years to get it to 90 to 100%. If you're coming from, like, I've had clients who called me and said, hey, I really want to go vegan. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I can help you with that. No problem. But let me look at what your current palate is. If your current palate is crazy, meaning like you have no knowledge, you have no discipline, as far no consistency, you just pretty much eat whatever.
Right.
A lot of times, if you watch a documentary, or if you go on a certain Instagram page, you're like, I want to be that.
Yeah.
And the in between of that is where it lies.
Right.
Sometimes you may need to just clean up. How about just clean up your diet for the next year first? Let's just clean this up first,
Yeah.
and then we can slowly transition
For
to
sure.
different races and different, so like I said, it's always just gonna depend. And it depends on your stress levels. If a person has a lot going on, they may need to do a small step. If a person is calling and they have a small amount of things going on, like, hey, I just work and go home, take care of my children, they may have an easier time transition, just
True.
because
Yeah.
there's more space on their plate to say, okay, my willpower can go to changing. So I got a lot of space on my plate, some extra willpower. I can take a quicker route to being plant based than a
Yeah.
person who has this going on, that going on. And if your income doesn't match that, meaning if you can pay for things to get swapped out for you, you can pay for a chef to take it, you're not using your willpower, then that's different. But if you're a person where you have to front everything, or you have to budget everything, as far as where it's like, okay, I have to do everything myself, you have to take a look at that as well.
True. Yeah. I
Does that
agree
make
with you.
sense?
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. It may be different for everybody, and like we said, it's the same thing you were talking about earlier. Like you really have to adjust to a person's schedule and to a person's means, and also I think as far as your diet, it's also sometimes your reason behind it. You have to see why you want to do things. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
that also can
If you travel a lot, like for me, the reason why I've been 100% plant based, right? But the times that I've been 100% plant based has been only the times where I've just cared about my health. when I start saying, all right, I really want to go after money goals and I really want to start writing a book and I got all these shows going on, I will cut it to 70 to 90% just because now if I don't cook, if I don't have time to
It may
prep,
be easier.
I'm
Yeah.
not putting that stress. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'm like, look, I don't have the time to soak the chickpeas and then blend the chickpeas and then make the lentils and then patty it up. When I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about health and fitness, then I do.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
my money then I don't like how my money doing it. So a lot of times I will do things like, that's why I like being an entrepreneur. I will go hard and make a ton of money and then I'll take a break. And then I will literally go into taking care of myself.
Okay.
So now I'm at the point where I don't like that. I don't like going up and then having to take a break because it's
Right.
like because health, like the reason why I take a break is I won't like how I start to feel and look because I'm not eating as much plant based. And then also too, because I stopped eating Beyond Meat and all of those things,
Yeah.
that's when I realized I'm like, dang, if I'm not about to sit down every Sunday and make a different recipe or something new, I got my same 7 to 10 recipes that I've been using. So that's why I'm saying like people think that it has to just be one way.
Yeah. You gotta
And
find your balance. Your balance. You gotta find your
your
balance. That's the
balance,
first thing. Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm an advocate for whole foods first, making sure you know what vitamins and minerals you're lacking in and getting and knowing where to get those from. That is going to be key in my opinion.
Processed foods is definitely killing our people.
Absolutely.
Processed foods
Absolutely.
is the absolute worst. So I agree with you 100%. Let's talk a little bit. What elements of health did we leave out? We talked about sleep. We talked about fitness. We talked about nutrition. What else would you?
We talked about stress levels.
Yeah, stress
Um,
levels,
we need to talk about sunlight. We need to talk about water,
sunlight, and hydration. Yeah. And
hydration.
do you also get into mental health?
Absolutely. That's the key. But honestly, the sleep is the mental health. That's
100%.
really like that's if you ask anyone that's having or suffering through and I don't want to say anybody, but if you ask
Most
majority
people, yeah.
people, if you ask most people that believe they're going through depression, a lot of the times it's just exhaustion.
Yeah.
Like it's really just if you run down a person's schedule, and I've like I said, I've been doing this for 13 to 14 years. When I tell you that at this point in time, I ask women and men what their goals are health wise. So I want to lose this, or I want to gain this, or I want to put muscle on. That's like maybe 15, 20 minutes. But I really want to find out where the destruction is in your background of your lifestyle. So when it comes to depression, a lot of the times it is exhaustion. It is
Right.
a lot of ignoring what your insides are telling you. You need rest. I don't feel good. And you're pushing and pushing and pushing to the point where you're completely depleted. And now you don't have any energy to do much. You don't have any energy to push because you've been warned to change your lifestyle. And so a lot of the times you can link depression with a crazy lifestyle,
Right.
and that does not mean like if you're partying and you're not getting sleep, that is not different than a person who is running around doing tasks and not getting sleep. It's the same
Mhm.
thing.
For sure.
It's just like your drinks may be on the weekend and not every night. So because you're trying to replenish everything that you're doing, a lot of times we're doing a bunch of things and not feeling complete.
Mm.
And so the mental is definitely gonna always come from sleep first. And if you're getting enough sleep, then you got to look at your mineral sources and your food intake. Then if those are okay, then there's a different situation. But majority of the time, most people are not moving according to how their lifestyle is. They're just pushing and they're not feeling good inside. But you will never know that outside because
Yeah.
it can look great. Success can look great, but what are you sacrificing to get to that success level? And how are you thriving? Because a lot of times we are becoming successful out of survival mode, and a lot of us are
Yeah.
not coming successful out of thrival mode, and that plays a major role on your health because if you're operating off of success in survival mode, it's never enough
Yeah.
because you're in survival mode. But if you're operating in, all right, I'm already thriving. I don't care what level I'm at. I feel good. I'm taking care of myself. I love myself. I'm okay with the mistakes I made. I'm fixing the mistakes I made, and I'm still gonna go step by step. Then you already feel complete as you go up. And so all right, wait, hold up. All right, I need to pay attention to this. All right, let's fix that. Okay, now we can continue to go. But if you're in survival mode, you're like, I don't care. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do that. and then it gets to the point where you're depleted because
Yeah.
you already feel depleted, and then you're pushing for more,
Mm.
and then then you would get feelings of depression, aka exhaustion.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
for
always going
sure.
to be sleep, and then food intake. That's going to be first, and then having a place to be released. That's why exercise is key. Or I like to call it movement. I don't even like calling it exercise because exercise is just it's so many different realms to it. But just getting movement and just to get those thoughts so they're not being clogged up. So if you have negative thoughts or mistakes or just things going on, you want to be able to push those things out. You
Yeah,
want to be
for
able to
sure.
sweat
Yeah.
and have that blood flowing and moving that lymphatic system to not only push out toxins but toxic thoughts, toxic situations. If you're not sweating on purpose, if you're not pushing, then you're holding all of that in, and then you're gonna hold all of those things in and try to thrive for more. Of course, you're gonna be depressed. Of course, you're gonna be exhausted. Because where is the return on the investment that you're putting out?
Mm.
It's not there. Even though you can be growing, you can be making more money, but internally you still feel empty.
Yeah, no doubt. I would even say we have to redefine success as well. But that's another, you
Absolutely.
know.
Great point.
But
Yeah, great
yeah,
point.
yeah, for sure. But it's true what you said, because now that I think about it, we know that depression is actually rising. Like, a lot of people are dealing with it. And me personally, at least, most of the people that I know that suffer with depression or from depression, they struggle with sleep. You're right. They
Hmm.
struggle with sleep. They do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Insomnia, like, man, when I tell you the questions that I just asked is once a person tells me their schedule, I can automatically tell that they have insomnia.
Mm.
Once they tell me, oh, I do this, I do that, how many hours, are you skipping meals? Once I hear I undereat and I do a lot, I know you have insomnia or you have a form of depression because doing more and then not replenishing is going to empty you out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the insomnia is coming a lot of times comes from just not having the vitamins and minerals, not eating enough. So when you go to sleep, that's when you recover. There's nothing there to replenish any of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And so that's where we heal. That's where we recover. And so if you're not getting sleep and then you're also not getting nutrition, then of course you're gonna have insomnia and forms of depression because
Yeah.
you're depleted. You're literally depleted in energy on both ends of sleep because your energy comes from sleep and food and then your
Mhm,
stress levels.
mhm.
So majority of people are suffering from all three. No sleep, you're not getting food, and you're highly stressed.
Or you're not getting
And when I say food,
nutrients. Some people
you're
get
not. That's
food,
what
but
I
they're
say.
not
When I
getting
say
nutrients.
food,
Right, right.
I mean nutrient. I was just about to say that. I was
Yeah,
just about to say when you have food, it is. I'll call it. And men and women both go through this. And if you think about it, it's like depression is rising, but the workload that we're doing and the lack of real food is rising too. Because at least back in the day, you were working, but you were eating real food. Even when you went to the store and was getting cereal, you still the food was
mhm.
wholesome.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
the grains and things like that was still coming from wheat. Even though wheat is not the best, but at least it was still coming from earth.
Right, right, right.
Now I don't know where any of those cereals are coming
A
from.
hundred
Like
percent processed food.
it's 100 exactly. And so the rise of of how terrible the quality of food is, and then the rise of everyone wanting to be this, how you said, successful person who wants to just
Yeah,
look like they have it going on. People are doing whatever it takes to look like they have it going on, and they actually can have it going on externally and internally, and
yeah.
internal can be in complete turmoil.
Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with. You are sacrificing you to get to the next level because we don't learn. We just learn, hey, get up. And you learn these habits when you were younger. I remember when I didn't feel good, my mother still made me go. We did not, I didn't, now when I don't feel good, I'm looking at everything. Okay, what did I not eat right? All right, because it was a couple of times where I was so busy, I was just pretty much ordering out.
Mm.
And I got sick. And I'm like, man, I got sick because I'm ordering out. Like not because I'm ordering out and just grinding, like ordering out. And so when we're younger, we're not like I don't feel good. You learn to not feel good and still push through. But as an adult, you need to look at what is the habits of why I don't feel good, not push through, and that becomes an addiction.
Right.
Like you are like we are conditioned to not feel the best and still grind. And I don't think that, like, of course there are times where yes, you should still push through, but where it's an automatic mode, where to the point where if you tell a person to slow down, they're afraid of that. They're like, no, I can't slow down. Like, and that's the most scariest thing, to
Hmm.
not to know that your soul is literally screaming, we feel like ish.
Yeah.
We need a break. We don't feel good. We don't, and continuing to push.
A
And
lot
so,
of
like you
people,
said,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
A lot of people, no, you good. A lot of people are just pressured to keep going also because, like I said, society, our society just constantly pushing. You gotta grind, you gotta make more money, you gotta keep going, you gotta, and it also pushes this individualism, and this mentality of doing more and more for yourself and you're not doing enough. And when sometimes, like you said, what you need is to step back sometimes to take some time really for yourself, in order to feel better and to be better for others and for everything around you. So
Absolutely,
I think that's it.
absolutely, and depression is rising too because people don't work together. Back in the
Exactly.
day,
Yeah.
people did things together, like they
Hmm.
had to do things
Hmm.
together.
Hmm.
Even when it came to standing, making a decision and say, "Hey, we're not gonna take, we're not, nobody's riding the bus," and people did it.
Right.
Nowadays, that's not happening. And so the things that people are trying to do, you're supposed to do with a team of people, not by yourself.
Hmm.
Like, even for me, right? I made a vow to myself because I tested it out, right? It was times where I didn't make money on purpose. Like I said, there are times where I will say I don't care about income. And then there's times where I'm like, all right, let's get it. Right. And so now, and I was younger, so I had time to play with that. I didn't have children, so I had time to play with that. So I know what that looks like. I know what it looks like. I've grinded on. There was one time I was like, look, let's test it out. Like, I'm gonna grind for 6 months, and I made like 80K in 6 months off of training, right? And I didn't
Wow.
care about, I was like, let's sacrifice food, let's sacrifice this. And I tested it out. And I got eczema, all the same eczema that came back. It was all on my skin. I gained weight.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I made the most money I've ever made in a short amount of time. And look at myself.
Right.
And I was happy I did it. The reason why I did it is because I know how to get myself back. And
Mm.
then I learned, for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm never ever doing that again, because I ended up gaining a cyst in my leg too. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. But I now know that, like, what I need to do is just do it with the team and not by myself. If I want to go and get a lot, it's do it with the team. Especially as a single woman,
Mm.
like, a lot of women are completely depressed because you're doing things that require two people. So
Right.
for me, I'm like, my cap as a woman until I get married is just this amount. I don't care, because anything more for me, I start acting beyond myself. I don't act womanly. I get out of balance. So I have a cap with how much I make for myself, because, like, I until I get better at leadership. So now I'm learning teamwork and leadership. I have a coach, a business coach, to help me with those things, and I'm taking my time to get there. It's not about trying to get there quick, because, like I said, I did it in the 6 months, and it took me a year to recover from
To
the six
recover.
months damage
Yeah. Of
from
course.
that. So yeah,
Yeah.
so a lot of times we're going through depression because there is no teamwork. People back in the day had their family names was how they came up. So the
Mm.
people you're trying to compete with are people who use their family to get on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're trying to get
Absolutely.
on by just you. You're not even coming to your family and saying, look, let's come together with an idea, and let's make something happen with our name. Now it's people want to do things by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, nobody's chasing. And I don't want to say nobody, but there's really not a lot of us doing family things or group oriented things, especially in the hip hop world. Everything is me, me, me. But people don't trust. It's hard to trust these ages. So
Yeah. For sure. For sure. You know, when we talk about, I feel like the fitness industry, right? The fitness industry, like you talked a little bit about how sometimes people they're looking good from the outside, but then not on the inside, And
hmm
when we talk about health, we know that it has to come, it's the other way around. It comes from the inside first,
absolutely,
and then your outside will
absolutely.
definitely glow, right? So I feel like the fitness industry has gone completely the wrong way. Like today, you see people actually doing unhealthy things in order to look good on the outside, right?
Absolutely.
Instead of doing it the other way around. Once you really take care of your inside, it's gonna show on the outside, right? I feel like, but
Yeah. We lack patience.
mm, mm, mm,
Like, survival mode is patience.
mm.
Survival mode is lack of patience. Period,
Right,
point blank.
right.
So when
That
it
makes sense.
comes to, yeah, thrival mode is patience, and that's one of the hardest things. Patience and communication, and proper comprehension.
Mm,
Those three things: patience, communication, and proper comprehension, understanding of
mm,
others. plays a major role in what the choices that you make when it comes to your health, when it comes to decisions that you make when it for goals and things of that nature. So when it comes to us rushing as far as how you want to look good on the outside and not really you don't really care about like what's truly going on inside comes from lack of patience. Because
Yeah,
to take care of the inside first means that the return on the investment is later.
for
You know,
sure.
when it comes to things that are quick, it has to be a team. Quick, fast success comes from a team. If it comes from just you, you're gonna get there dismantled.
Right.
So when it comes to those quick fixes that people are doing, yes, it's a quick fix, but the investment on that is you're gonna have to do way more later down the line to fix those things as opposed to just doing it the correct way the first time. And that goes with a lot of decisions that we make. If you do it the correct way the first time, it's not gonna be as hard as it is trying to fix it 3 to 4 years later when we can just do it correct. And the thing about it is if you do it correct now, where you take care of your inside first, in 3 or 4 years, you'll be thriving. If you do it incorrect now, in 3 to 4 years, you got to go backwards.
Right, right. That's it.
So, yes, yeah. So, patience. Patience
Patience.
is
That's the key.
so important.
For
And like I
sure.
said, and then communication and comprehension. But that's another story. But yeah,
Yeah.
yep, I agree with that.
No doubt.
I've done that before. Like I've definitely done that before. I mean, I don't think you can avoid that, but what we don't do is learn from it. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you will always have decisions where you'll be patient in some decisions, but a lot of times the patients have either already come from the mistakes you already made or somebody taught
True.
you it. But I don't think we could avoid that. But what we don't do is learn from it.
Yeah, we
Like,
have to.
okay, I can't do it this way anymore.
Right, right. We have to. We have to learn from it. We have to learn from
Yep.
everything we do and just, like I said, that's what health is about. It's a journey. It's about constantly getting better, getting healthier, and balance, taking our time.
Yes.
So
Taking your time.
yeah, yeah. I want to talk
Yeah.
about your show, like I said, the Health and Hip Hop Show. First, I want to shout out Keith Tucker because I
Yes.
know
Shout out
he
to Keith
yeah,
Tucker.
Keith Tucker from Hip Hop is Green. I know he was on your show and he was on the Vada Hoops podcast as well.
Yes.
Episode 20 for everybody to go check it out. But the Hip Hop is Green. For those of you who don't know, they came up with the 10th element of hip hop, right?
Yep.
And
Health.
it's health and wellness, basically. So I wanna read real quick the 6 pillars, right, of health and wellness. This is what Hip Hop is Green came up with. First, plant-based eating, organic gardening, fitness, sobriety and mental health, food
Yep.
justice, and animal rights activism. I think it's really dope. I definitely encourage everyone to go, check out what Hip Hop is Green is doing. Shout out to Keith Tucker.
Yes. Shout out to
Yeah,
Keith.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
no doubt.
absolutely. I
So,
ran a chapter in New Jersey before.
okay, dope. That's what's up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how
yeah.
I actually met Keith. We ran a chapter
Okay,
in New Jersey.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's what's up. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about your show, the Health and Hip Hop Show. How did it start? What is it all about? You know?
yeah, so my health and hip hop show is basically balance. That's literally what it is. It
Mm,
is about balance. And so we specialize in helping busy people, excuse me. I'm so used to saying busy women on my own personal training. But for
yeah.
the show, it is geared towards helping busy people and it's geared towards helping hip hop artists learn how to be balanced.
Okay.
So you can absolutely attack your goals and reach your goals. But we want to reach our goals with our mental intact and we want to reach our goals with our bodies and our spirits and our souls intact. Yeah, so that my show is specifically towards teaching balance. I named it health and hip hop because I wanted to make becoming healthier seem a little at ease because a lot of like we talked about earlier, people think it's a like hardcore intense thing that you have to do to become healthier. And I
Right.
think that's because we attack everything like that. And health is it's the complete opposite. It is just taking your time to learn what works for you. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to call my show Health and Hip Hop because I wanted to speak the way I wanted to speak. And I felt like, we've always learned through hip hop.
Yeah.
So I feel like, one of the best ways to teach anyone to how to balance out, their healthy lifestyle is going to be through hip hop. So we like
No
to
doubt.
speak to a lot of hip hop artists, we like to
Mm-hmm.
speak to a lot of people who are doing positive things and who've had to come from being unhealthy to becoming the best version of themselves and how
Yeah.
they did that. So we just like to, share different perspectives on, how you became who you are today and how you maintain that to give other people insight on how, they can maintain their situations from. We got episodes called Healing for Dads. We have an episode with Alan Watson, who is he was a professional athlete, basketball player, and he calls himself a tactician. And so we have that specifically geared towards helping athletes understand how to balance their health while they get to, reach the
Dope.
goals that they're reaching. So
Mhm.
yeah, so we have an episode on for young moms. I had a woman on there, shout out to Sheena. She had her first child at 13,
Okay.
and she ended up having 3 children by 18, and she owns 5 vegan restaurants right now. She's thriving. She's always been thriving. Her children are thriving. And so, we wanted to. She actually is married to Alan Watson.
Okay.
So we just wanted to. We just wanted to just give different perspectives on how to maintain, because if you're a young mom, a lot of times people think that, like, your life is over right away, like soon, or even when women have babies, it's like, oh, you can't do these things. So we just wanted to just attack a lot of the myths that
Yeah.
are going on. Having children is beautiful, is a beautiful thing, and teen pregnancy, and adult pregnancy is not going anywhere. So we need
True.
to just balance it the best way that we can. And telling someone that their life is over at a young age that's just not right. So I wanted to have
Yeah.
someone who actually went through that situation and is thriving mentally, physically, spiritually, relationship wise, financial wise, to give women an idea of how to balance that if that's what's happened to you, or if that's what happened to you or is happening to you.
Yeah.
So we just have different topics and things like that, different rappers and different successful people in their own way to teach you how to balance out that. We have episodes on relationships, building the importance of building great relationships when you're climbing up the ladder, how to build relationships, because that is key when you're
For sure.
in any type of goal you have. You're gonna need help, you're gonna need relationships. So we just have different topics that cover health, where, like I said, being a mom, being a dad, being an athlete,
Hmm.
all these things are health, all these things are hip hop too. If you
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
hip
Yeah.
hop, you're gonna be a hip hop loving mom, you're gonna be a hip hop loving athlete. And so yeah, that's what our show is. It's to have different perspectives on life, and we're talking to you through the element of hip hop and teaching you how to be healthier at the same time. So it's good, it's funny, it's cool, it's swagged out, and you're learning a bunch of gems, life changing gems. I've seen people go to rehab. I've had people call me like, "Yo, my uncle watched the episode and went to rehab off that, and we couldn't get him to go to rehab for nothing." I've had
That's dope.
Sheena told me, she was like, after the episodes, like, children came in and wanted to learn about being vegan or having a more plant-based diet. So
Mm.
yeah, that's what we're doing. We're teaching in a
That's
way
really
where we kind of sneaking those, kind of like how hip hop is, sneaking
yeah.
those gems in. Like, I learned so much through Jadakiss and Styles P's lyrics. So we're
Yeah.
doing the same thing. It's just through episodes.
No
So
doubt. Yeah.
yep.
That's really dope. And your show is really dope. I definitely encourage, all the listeners to go check it out. We're gonna have the link.
Thank
Yeah, we're
you.
gonna have the link in the description for sure for everybody to check it out. And listen, your work is very important, so I appreciate you. I
Thank
just
you.
want to
Thank
let
you for having
people
me.
know. Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I just want to let people know that, sometimes, like you said, it's all about a lifestyle, it's about consistency. And a lot of times, and I think it's for everybody and it's different for everyone, but health is for everybody. Sis. I feel like
Absolutely.
I feel like sometimes people have a misconception that like it's gonna be expensive, they don't have the budget, they don't,
Yep.
and
Yep.
health can be just, it can be just going outside and walking, catching some sun rays, grounding, drinking more water, and all these things are basically free, right? So
Yep.
sometimes, we have the wrong idea about it. And I think it's important for all of us and especially us, our people and people who are into hip hop and all that, the lifestyle sometimes is crazy unhealthy, like you said earlier, so we gotta get into it. That's why also um the 10th element of hip hop I love as well, so
Absolutely. Shout out
but
to
yeah,
Keith Tucker
no
one
doubt.
more
But
time.
yeah, and shout out to you. Appreciate you coming on the show. Before you go, I'd love for you to, give the listeners a book recommendation if you have one, if you could recommend a book or two.
Absolutely. So definitely for the ladies, I definitely suggest picking up the book Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy. I don't know her, I remember her last name, but Fast Like a Girl
Hmm.
by Dr. Mindy, because it definitely shows you how we should thrive around our menstrual cycle, where you
Okay.
could get the best workouts, how you could use fasting to take care of yourself. And they also have one for women, for older women, where it's if you look up fasting for Fast Like a Girl, they have one for women who have gone through menopause too, and showing you how to properly fast and take care of yourself with, for women who are going through menopause.
Okay.
So definitely Fast Like a Girl for sure. And then one of my favorite books that I love is Sister Soldier, The Midnight. That book to me is just one of the best stories to show you like discipline. So that's one of my
Okay.
favorite books.
Who
So
wrote
Fast Like
that?
a Girl and Midnight. Sister Soldier,
Okay.
Midnight.
No doubt. Yeah, I
I
appreciate that.
recommend that book.
I appreciate
Yep.
that. All right, cool. Well, before you go, if you could just, give out, your socials, website, whatever. We're gonna have all that down in the description, but
Yeah,
just let us know where
absolutely.
where people can find you, where they can see what you got going on. And also
Yes,
if you have
yes,
any last words,
absolutely.
it's all you.
Yeah, so you can find me. I'm just gonna give my health and hip hop show. So if you just put in health and hip hop show on YouTube or on Instagram, you can just follow that page because that's you'll see my page there, my personal page. So health and hip hop is where you can find me, whether YouTube or Instagram. You can do both. Please do both. But yeah, health and hip hop. And yeah, I just wanted to say to just have patience with your journey. You don't have to do detrimental things right away. You can just make small changes that you can stick with. Let those small changes be what motivates you to go up. So once you start feeling better just from saying, let me work on my sleep, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have so much negative thoughts. My energy is better. Okay, let me start working on my food.
Right.
Okay, cool. Like now I love my energy. I love how my body's responding from sleep and proper nutrition. Then that may be going to exercise, or it could be all three, but maybe you're just exercising 15, 20 minutes and
Right.
let those small changes be like, oh my God, like I don't want to, give this up. What's next? What's next? And then you just let it. Cause I was, like I said, I was overweight my whole life. I
Mm.
did not know I was going to be a coach. When my dad passed, I changed. I said, you know what? I got to change. And then that became me just working on my eating and working on my exercise. Then that became sleeping better. Then that became, oh, I could be a coach now. Then that became, oh, I could study nutrition. And that became, oh, I can help hip hop artists. And then it just went.
Keeps
So
going. Yeah.
a lot of us are trying to force. We don't have to force because I know that's what we're used to. We're used to staying up late, studying to get that grade, to get that A. We're forcing that, but you're not remembering that information. Just forcing yourself to do these different things to get a certain grade. And so we carry on those habits as an adult. And that's not how life works. Life is patience. Life is
Oh,
thriving. And yes, it is survival mode as well. And so some areas you're going to be surviving in, some areas you're going to be thriving in. But the areas that you're surviving in does not mean talk bad to yourself. It means that the areas that are in survival mode, whether it be if your finances aren't the best, but you got good relationships, if your relationships aren't the best, but you got good finances, like everything is going to be some areas in your life you're going to be great at and some you're not. And the ones that survival mode means it needs attention and patience. It doesn't mean you're bad or you're doing bad. It just means that this area needs some education. This area needs either help from others or it needs some attention, not
yeah.
a F. Because when you get an F, you automatically think like, oh my God, I'm doing bad, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. And F's mean that, or D's mean, or C's mean that you just need to pay more attention to this area. You need a little help in these areas. And the more time you put in, the better you'll get. And you can turn an F, a D, a C to an A. Everything does not have to be an A all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. I appreciate you. All
Thank
right.
you for
This
having me. I
no doubt.
appreciate you.
Thank you for coming on. This has been a great one. And yeah, I hope
Thank
to see you. I
you.
hope to see you back on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
No doubt.
Hope to see you on my show too.
For sure. Would love that.
All right, perfect.
Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
All right. Another great one. I appreciate you all for watching, for listening. Please leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and make sure you get on your health. Holistic health is key. Make sure you check out the Health and Hip Hop Show. Also, for those of you who speak Spanish, make sure you check out the Habana Negra, our introductory episode is out, and we got a lot more coming. Like I said, we appreciate you. Vada Hoops is for the people, by the people, for the culture. Uhuru.